From 1960, Run Around Sue by Dion. My guest, Trade Martin, is here, and I'm becoming a pro at putting someone on the air, so I believe I just press this button. Trade, are you there?
I'm here, Kevin.
Look at that, I'm a pro at that now. I used to press every line. It would make it sound like so nasty, you know.
I see. That's funny. I get a kick out of, I did a session with Dion, and I met him, once. I don't know Dion that well. I heard he's a real nice guy, though. But it always amazed me that the Run Around Sue song, that sounds like he's almost crying.
I think I was wrong on the year on that. I think for some reason, I don't think it's right, though. I want to say 62 on that, but I think it is the year 1960. I know.
It was before 62. It was definitely.
Yeah.
It was 60.
Okay.
The latest could have been was 61, but I think it was 60.
Because sometimes I play this shows back at home, and I realize I'm wrong on the years, and I think it is 1960, though.
Well, listen, it's good that you at least admit it. A lot of guys wouldn't even admit that they were wrong. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, Kevin.
Oh, I hear you.
Everybody, nobody's perfect all the time. I mean, I do. Somebody corrected me on something I did on. I was talking about something. I had something really about 2 weeks ago. I had something really misconstrued on my talk radio show. It was like same people were involved, same thing, but it was like two different court cases, and I had them interchanged. And the guy corrected me, and I said, "Oh, thanks. I didn't realize it."
That's like me tonight on your talk radio show. What you guys all over me. I'm sitting there after the show. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what was going on?" I thought I ruined the show.
Oh no.
Why don't we talk a little bit about your show? So what type of that's internet, right, Trey? That's not.
Yeah, it's internet radio. Yes.
Now, is that out of your house or is that?
Yeah, no, I do it from my studio, but we do it on a regular phone line. They're on regular phone lines, and my producer is Lisa, as you know. She handles the board, and she tells me if a call is coming in or something. She contacts me on the phone. Sometimes we work on the computer, on like private messages on the computer, and she'll message me on the computer. You got a phone call, instead of interrupting me while I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
But,
what I've noticed with her too is that she doesn't even, with me, she doesn't even talk to me, and she doesn't talk sometimes. She just presses the beep.
She's very quiet. No, she's not like, don't worry. She's not like she doesn't like you. It's just that
all of a sudden I just start talking.
Very businesslike and very into what she's doing.
True.
And she's very good, though. When I ask her to play, like if I put an MP3, if I do an MP3 or something, and I do like a spoof or something, and I tell her to play it at a certain time, she's always right there. She's on the money. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's good.
Awesome. Hey, Trey, you were telling me this afternoon about some cool songs that you heard on At the Hopper, Kevin Boles, that you were inspired to remake. Why don't you tell us?
Oh, yeah, well, the other night after I got off the phone with you, off the line with you, you played the Roy Hamilton record, Don't Let Go. And it's funny that it was a coincidence that I just completed a remake on the Roy Hamilton record, Don't Let Go. And I always knew the song. I never performed it in a club because a lot of those songs I used to perform in a club. But my girlfriend brought attention to me, brought my attention to it to me. And she said, you would do this song well, and and nobody's ever really redone this song. And I listened to it, and I said, yeah, it's a nice little song. I said, let me do it. So I did it, and when I release it, which will be in a couple of weeks, I'll send it up to you, and you'll play it next to the Roy Hamilton record. It's not quite as good as the Roy Hamilton record. Like I told you before, the original records, it's very difficult to make a record better than the original.
You have said that quite often, yeah.
So, so set and so done, and it was a big hit, and, it's hard to... But mine sounds good, don't get me wrong. It'll sound nice when it's on the air, and it sounds real good, but it just doesn't have what the original record had, So the other record is that we were talking about earlier that I redid was Get a Job, the Silhouettes record. I got a great record on that. Not better than the original, though, but a great record on it.
Can you believe the Silhouettes had that song at like #1 in 1958? And like I told you on the phone, I mean, that could go along with the climate of today. A lot of people do not have jobs, and nagging wife. I think it was the nagger in the song.
Yeah.
How we play Get a Job Trade?
Good. Let me hear it.
I got the original 45 too. This is vinyl.
Great record. Great record.
From 1958, the Silhouettes on At the Hopper, Kevin Boles with Get a Job. Talking about Trade Martin, that's the original 45 from 1958 Trade.
Yeah, what label was that on?
Ember. It's a red label.
Oh, it's on Ember, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew the guys from Ember Records. I forget the guys' names that owned that record label. I made a deal with them in probably around 1963 or 64. I had a group called... Oh, and by the way, when you said about the 50s, I wasn't really active in the 50s. I didn't get active until like 1960, 61, 62. You kind of dated me, Kevin. I'm not that old yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. No.
No, you are correct. I mean, that stranger used to be my girl. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding with you, but I mean, I started. I was in school yet until like 1961. I got out of school, and then in '62 I had my hit record. But I was lucky. But I was in school when Get a Job was on, and also, what year was Linda Scott?
Linda Scott, did you hear me open with that?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I did a show with her.
Number 3 in 1961.
I was 61, huh? Yeah, I did a show with her. She was on a show with the Earls when I had my record label, and I produced the Earls. I discovered the Earls with their first record, Life is But a Dream. That's my record that I produced.
True.
And she was on a show with the Earls, and that's how I met her one time. But then after that, I never even heard about her anymore.
She kind of disappeared. I mean, I've seen later albums by her. None of them were hits, but I mean, that was just it for Linda Scott. That one I played.
Yeah, it was a good little record. That was a good little record then. You know what other record I always loved, Kevin, and I'm sure you know it. And I'm going to recut it one of these days. And I used to do it in the nightclub all the time because people get a kick out of it. It's Ernie K. Doe, and the song is Mother-in-Law.
Oh, yeah, true.
I think he only had one hit record.
That's it. That was #1 in 1961. What can you tell me about Ernie K. Doe, the guy I know nothing about? I know
nothing about him either, Kevin. It's just that I always loved that record. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law. It's such a cute record. I love it. And they love it at the nightclub when I used to do it at the nightclub, Mother-in-law. I'm going to redo it. I'm going to redo that song. I got to redo it. The other one I redid that we were talking about before, I got a great record on Stranded in the Jungle.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Was a request last night, and it's just such a weird record, It's so off key. It's not even on key. It's just kind of a lot of screaming and hissing, and then finally they talk. I mean, it's just amazing they would put something out like that in those days.
I think it was made. I think Get a Job. I'm not sure. Get a Job, if it was on Ember, it was probably made in New York. But I think Stranded in the Jungle was made on the coast.
Hey, Trade.
Yeah.
We're getting a little off key here. How about we play Mother-in-Law?
Go ahead.
I got it right here.
All right, good. I love it. It's a great record.
It is. I'm distracted. I don't see the CDs.
Mother-in-law.
That was the #1 song in 1961. I'm talking about Trade Martin. Trade, you want to know the record label that was put out on?
What was on?
Mint Records. It was Mint Records. All it has is black print with the name and the number of the label. It has the name of the label, Mint. Then it has Ernie K. Doe, Mother-in-Law. It's an all orange label. In all these years, being a huge record collector I've never seen another person on that label.
I know.
It's just such a mystery,
Yeah. And he never had like a follow-up record on that.
I want to say he had. Now, this is going back on memory. I said this recently on the air, too, the last time I played a song. Once in my travels, I swear I saw an Ernie Cado album, right?
Really?
Yeah, but I never saw it again. And the reason I didn't get it that day was because it was the cover. Cover was weird. It kind of falling apart. But I swear I saw an album. So that was a long time ago, too. So now I've been trying to remember. I'd never seen that album again.
Wow, no kidding. We got to look at a catalog and see if it's in the catalog. I wonder what his follow-up record. Maybe his follow-up record was Father-in-Law or something.
I think that went British, too. I think a British group took that in the mid-'60s.
Yeah.
Herman's Hermits.
Did they do it, too?
It was on one of their albums in the 1965.
Wow, that's funny.
I don't think it was a big hit for Herman's Hermits. I think it was just one of them covers.
I never heard it really by Herman's Hermits. I'm sure, like you say, they probably cut it, but they, it was. I don't think it was anything.
I personally think it's cool you're remaking Stranded in the Jungle. I'm going to play that song, too. This was a request yesterday, too.
Yeah,
it's Stranded in the Jungle by the Cadets.
I love that record.
This was like number 15, I believe, in 56.
Another group recorded that, too. I forget what the name of it is.
The Jayhawks. They asked me for that, too.
Oh, the Jayhawks. Okay, good.
I have that record at home. I don't have that on CD.
Yeah, the Jayhawks. It's not as good a record, though.
No, it's different. The Cadets on At the Hopper, Kevin Boles, number 15 in 1956, Stranded in the Jungle. That's an interesting record all these years later.
It is, and the funny thing is it's a real story. It's a funny story because the guy is stranded in the jungle. He gets captured by the natives, and he's being cooked, and then he gets away, and he thumbs a ride from a whale, because his chances of reaching the States are mighty slim. And then he goes back, and meanwhile the guy is trying to romance his girl in Lover's Lane, and he says the man is no good. You should have understood. To the girl, I mean, it's a whole story. I mean, and it's very well done for what it is. I'll tell you. And you could have liked my record. I'll get you my record.
I'm very curious. I'm kind of curious to see how it sounds just with one person, because that was a group too,
Yeah, well, I did the whole group part too, though.
Really, you can do that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like the Get a Job record. It sounds like a group is doing it. I did all the parts, but it sounds good. But you'll see. You'll get a kick out of it. I'm going to send you Stranded in the Jungle. I
can't wait to play that.
Jungle. I think that's that's probably my favorite record ever, besides Searching by the Coasters.
That's a good one, too.
Searching by the Coasters. And I also recorded that years ago. I have to find it, and I have to remaster it, maybe remix it, remaster it. But Lieber and Stoller, they were my buddies. I knew Lieber and Stoller very well. I used to record with them. I played on some of their sessions. And they were really very, very...
The Coasters go back to the early 50s,
Yeah.
They go back.
They were the Robins originally.
That was their original group. And the label in that year was Maroon.
Oh, was it? I didn't...
Very early 50s. I think it became the Harp with the yellow... They put the harp on it. They put the harp on it in the years of Bobby Darin, I think, with Split Splash. I think it changed in like 57, I think. I think it was more 58. But from like 1952 or whenever it started, maybe earlier, it was a Maroon label, and those are more valuable than the other Echo records.
Yeah, right. Well, my label was Maroon. The original Rome record that I designed, my partner and I had Rome Records, where we first produced the Earls. We discovered and produced the Earls. That was a Maroon label too, my Rome record label. When you see it, they're red ones too. They had run out of ink, and they made like the second or third record in red that was terrible. I hated it.
Now I heard about records. I heard that they used to dye the records black. Because if you look, you might not know this, but if you look at some records, like the ones from the earlier 50s, like especially when the 45s were first coming out, they're different colors. If you see enough records in your life, you will see rare records. They were actually in colors.
Oh yeah, I mean different colors.
So they actually, I think they had to, I don't think they paid, but they actually had to go through great lengths to turn the vinyl black to make it actual a record. Where some people think it was just made from black vinyl. It actually wasn't. A record was physically dyed black.
Wow, I never knew that.
I am the expert.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know if you ever saw the record that Neil Bogart, when I recorded for Buddha Records, I made a record and it was called I Can't Do It For You. And he loved this record so much.
You were on that. That was a pretty hot label in those early 70s.
Yeah.
Gladys Knight and the Pips were there, too.
Yeah. I was supposed to produce Gladys at one time, but it didn't.
I think Paul Anka was there at one time, too. Was Paul Anka there?
Really? Yeah. My manager used to manage B.B. King, The Temptations, me, and Gladys Knight. And I was supposed to, that's how I produced B.B., because of my manager.
Because Gladys Knight goes back to like 1962 with Every Beat in My Heart.
Yeah, it was a great record, Every Beat in My Heart. But what I was saying is, Neil Bogart, who was Buddha, head of Buddha, he eventually went to Casablanca. He set up Casablanca Records on the coast.
Okay.
And had the guys that did
Village People.
Village those guys, and he had Donna Summer. And all those guys. But he made one of my records. He loved it so much that he pressed it in clear vinyl.
Okay.
It's a big collector's item. It's in clear vinyl. It's called I Can't Do It For You. And the sleeve, he made it gold. And he said he was wrong about this, though. He wasn't wrong too many times, but he was wrong about my record. He said that my record, he said, I wanted to make it clear that this record will be gold. That's what he said about my record.
Really?
But he was wrong.
Yeah.
He was totally wrong. It was a good little record, but it didn't make it. It didn't get that much play.
Do you want to know what the first? Want to hear an early Coasters song?
Yeah. Let me.
Okay, this is 1955.
Wow.
This is the Coasters in 1955. Let's play it right now. It's called Smokey Joe's Cafe, and this is when they were the Robins before the Coasters.
Right.
I don't have the right CD queued up. Hang on, let's talk about something else. I'll get this queued up.
What was that? Hit the Road Jack? That sounded like the opening.
Yeah, that's the CD I had Mother-in-Law. I've been doing this recently in the studio. I pressed the wrong numbers.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I got the right CD now.
Yeah,
Ray Charles from 19... And he wasn't out on Atlantic no more in those years either.
So he's on ABC Paramount, right?
I always wanted to know, and I'll probably never know why he left Atlantic Records.
He was tough, supposedly a tough guy to get along with.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Because I've always felt like his ABC Paramount wasn't as good as Atlantic.
Well, they weren't a real black label. They were more of a, normal label. But they tried to hire me at one time.
Oh, really?
The head of A&R in 1966. I was recording for R.C. Victor.
I want to say they were founded in 1957 with At the Hop, Danny and the Juniors, and they had guys
was
like
that the Hop on ABC Paramount?
That was ABC Paramount. They had a guy Clint Miller with a record called Bertha Lou in those days.
I don't remember that record at all.
I'm trying to think. They even had people like Edie Gourmet on that record label.
Oh yeah. Huh?
Very early. They had a wide variety of music too. I mean, and then in those years, the 1960s, I bet you Tommy Rowe was on that forever.
Oh, they were. Tommy Rowe was on that label. I didn't know that.
And then in the mid 60s, they became ABC, And you know another West Coast label at the time, Dunhill Records. You know that label?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Grassroots, Mamas and the Papas.
Mamas and the Papas were on the Dunhill.
So ABC kept going, and Dunhill Records kept going, and then in about 1969, see, I researched all this. In about 1969, 1970, I think it was 69, records started coming out. They merged. They were ABC Dunhill for a while.
Oh, they were? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they bought some deal was probably made, and then they dropped Dunhill, and then in the early 70s, you know the Jim Croce years who died in the plane crash.
Yeah, sure.
He was on ABC. In those years, it was just ABC Records again.
Oh, it was ABC. I see.
Yeah, they survived. They went into the 80s. They had that Steely Dan group on ABC. That was big in the 70s.
Yeah, Steely Dan. Right.
They started in 1957 with groups like Danny and the Juniors and stuff, and then they got big. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but that was a very big. I mean, that was a big label. They tried to hire me as head of A&R in '66, but I turned down the deal. And they couldn't understand why. I mean, it was a lot of money at that time. I mean, a lot of money. But I turned it down. I was doing, I was recording for RCA Victor, and I was doing other things. I didn't want to be tied down to one label.
True. Here comes Smokey Joe's Cafe. Let me go to Smokey Joe's Cafe by the Robins.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I at Smokey Joe's Cafe.
That was probably one of their bigger ones as the Robins.
They were, that was written by Lieber and Stoller, I believe, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Writers. Great writers.
How many of the Coasters do you think are still alive?
Oh, I have no idea. Maybe none of them.
True.
I don't think there's any originals alive at the Coasters.
I remember hearing one or two passed away. So
I mean, I hope they are, but I mean, these guys got to be way up in age.
True.
They could be close to 90 now.
True.
You know?
You know, another one where I think they were the Robins, they might have just become the Coasters. I think it was this record right here, a record called Little Egypt. You ever hear that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a good record. He's playing it.
Yeah, I'm going to play it.
That was written by Lieber and Stoller, too. Yeah.
Step right up, folks, and see Little Egypt do a famous dance of the pyramids. She walks, she talks, she claws on her belly like a reptile. Just one thin dime, 1/10 of a dollar. Step right up, folks.
And another.
That's very early, Coasters.
That's funny.
That's very early. I haven't played that.
Jerry Lieber, man, he was really a great guy. He loved me. I loved him. He was great. Him and Mike Stoller. But Jerry Lieber was the lyricist. He's so good. Oh, my God.
True.
Yeah, that's funny stuff.
Hey, I got a call while that song was playing for my listener Don in Avon. He said Ernie K. Doe had a follow-up, T.T. Ta. It's something like that. I don't even know if I got the name right. I know I got the song in here, but it's on a rarity CD. I should try and find that.
Really? Huh?
Yeah, he had a follow-up.
He must have, because the record was #1. I had to have a follow-up, but it wasn't a big hit, I guess, though, huh? I don't understand why not. At least it should have got like some kind of a big push because of having a #1 record when you followed up. In those days, you just had a #1 record. Your next record came out, the DJs jumped all over it.
Okay, I got it. I got it right now.
You do have it?
It's on the CD. As soon as Dawn said it to me, I hit it. Okay, it's T.T. Ta. It's a tongue twister. Let me play this.
Okay, let's hear it.
I forgot it. Thank you, Don. I completely forgot about this song.
Thanks, Don. That's great. Good.
All right. It's going to take me 2 minutes to cue this thing up.
All right. Because I got to run after that.
Okay.
I'm going to get going after that.
Oh, I got to do station identification, too. The hour's almost over.
WATD radio. That's it, right?
That is.
FM.
We got to do that every hour.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, here's the Ernie K. Doe song.
Mama, baby, yes she did. Let's do it one more time, honey. Tita, ta. Every time you cha-cha-cha, I got the red step.
The Ernie K. Doe follow-up. It's such a tongue twister. It's kind of weird how to say it, but that's the follow-up right there. Talking to Trade Martin. Trade, I forgot all about that tune.
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody else forgot about it too, and it was a good reason to forget it. I mean, it doesn't sound too good to me.
I doubt that was as good. That was number one, though. I mean, I don't know what it did.
What do you mean, the one that you just played?
No, I'm saying it wasn't number one like Mother-in-Law, but I mean, what do you think that did on the charts?
How
you
it
know?
got played, it was a terrible record. I mean, what were those guys thinking?
How do you say it too? It's you look at it. It's on the CD. It's just a bunch of T and a ta and a T again.
He kind of sounds like Sam Cooke, like he was a Sam Cooke imitator.
Yeah, yeah, you're probably right.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit like that. Well, listen, Kevin, it was great talking to you. I'm going to have to run because I got to get up early. I got an early session.
Okay.
And, listen, we'll talk tomorrow, man, but I was happy to be on with you. And you do a great show and keep up the great work.
Sounds good. I'm going to call the station tomorrow. We'll send you the MP3 as well.
Okay, beautiful. Good. I can't wait.
Maybe you can put it on YouTube.
All right.
With the other one.
Okay, good enough.
Thanks, Trade.
All right, talk to you later, Kevin. See ya.
It's
Bye-bye.
2:55. You're listening to At the Hop with Kevin Boles. Let's continue on with the show. Let's see what I got queued up here. How about I Feel Good by Shirley and Lee? This is the follow-up to Let the Good Times Roll.